we'll have a quick look at the New Zealand story in the past week or so, with them surprisingly recording some new cases after, I think it was 102 days of being virus-free. There's obviously been a lot of talk about how, they were like the poster child for, combating the virus, and it seemed like they did have it under control. But now that they've had a small cluster sort of outbreak in Auckland, they've gone back to stage 3 restrictions, stage 2 for the rest of the country. And I think it just sort of highlights that you can't really be complacent or think that, you've got this whole thing down. And that's not to, be heavily critical of what they were doing in New Zealand. Not that, we can talk in Australia, obviously, with the way things have been going here. But maybe it's just a much more difficult problem to deal with than just, we'll shut up shop for a couple of weeks and then it's all done.
Well, it goes to show you, as you say, the difficulties with running a sort of even a suppression strategy. New Zealand had over 100 days without any local cases. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but the only logical explanation for this is that there must have been a quarantine security breach. So somebody who's come in has somehow spread the disease, and that's probably the best we can say at this point. But it goes to show you how quickly you can get numbers. It does go to show you how quickly New Zealand moves to lockdown. I mean, on the same basis, Sydney or New South Wales should be locked down with the numbers they're recording. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in New South Wales over the next month or two, and interesting to see what happens in New Zealand. I suspect they'll get back down to 0 community cases again very quickly, and then we'll see what happens, how quickly they open up.
And just finally too, on this particular point, just with an update from Victoria, meaning there was about 300 or so cases recorded today at the time of this recording, and I think the trend line, it was starting to look like it was going down overall, but obviously there's still a fair amount of work and restriction time left to go before things can even begin to be considered to be returning to normal.
Well, that's right. So remember, you have to get those numbers down maybe to 10 or around the number 10 towards 0, and then you probably have to have 2 weeks once you achieve that. So there's still a lot of work to be done in Victoria.